litter of pups are now 5 weeks old, and they're becoming more adventurous, testing what they can destroy with their teeth, and who they can and can't pick fights with. But above all, they're discovering what it means to be a dog. Simple play between two puppies reveals the wild ancestor within. The hunting instinct. The dominant and submissive behaviors that are essential to pack life. This is because all dogs can trace their ancestry back to the wolf. So if all dogs came from one species, then how did they end up to be so many different shapes and sizes?
How did you end up like that, boy?
When we first domesticated dogs, we bred out some of the wild behaviours. And this process accidentally led to new characteristics. Coloured coats, curly tails and floppy ears. Add a few thousand years of breeding from the dogs we love the most, and you have the huge variety that we see today. In theory, any dog can mate with any other dog. But practicalities get in the way. If humans were as different as a pug and a St. Bernard, then our heights would range from 2 to 31 feet tall. But there's one thing that just about every dog does. Bark. So why do they bark? Where does it come from? Wolves don't bark. They howl. Some scientists think that barking has evolved just for our benefit. So does this mean that they're talking to us? And if so, what are they saying? They seem to understand our words.
Dig, dig.
Come on, speak. Hey, good boy.
But can dogs really talk to us by barking?
I don't think anybody ever understands a dog. They understand you. I don't think you ever understand a dog.
Let's see if these owners can understand what different barks mean.
Put them on the dog. She'd probably be able to tell the difference than me. Okay.
Can't hear a thing.
It's unhappy.
It's good. It wants attention. It's frustrated.
I visualise him in an open space on a lead. And he wants to be off and to go to somewhere or somebody.
It sounds quite a happy bark. It sounds as if it's playing.
To me, that sounds like you're just about to throw a ball for the dog and there's that level of excitement. It's running all around you.
It's been identified that dogs can communicate at least 6 different emotions to us through their barks.
That's why I know what you're thinking.
Well, it just proves, doesn't it, that dogs can talk by barking.
Back with our growing puppy. She's not trying to communicate with us just yet. Only 5 weeks old, the puppies are still finding their feet. And slowly gaining independence from their mother. Milk is replaced with a first tentative interest in water. The tip of a dog's tongue has taste buds just for water. They create a desire to drink, which is important as their natural diet of meat is high in salt.
Nightly.
But even the simple act of drinking is more complicated than it looks. Dogs curve their tongue into the water to create a large surface area to stick the water to. They pull it up into their mouth, snapping it shut before all the water escapes. It's a surprisingly complex and beautiful process for such a simple daily requirement. And it's also why dogs make such a mess when they're drinking.
Not fucking hard.
Puppies sleep far more than they are awake, just like human babies. Exhausted from a world of new experiences, they fall into a deep slumber. It looks like they're dreaming about chasing rabbits. But is that just our human sentiments getting in the way? Dogs do dream. And by monitoring their brain waves, scientists have found out that puppies dream far more than adult dogs. They can even tell that dogs dream about the day's events, processing their memories. Looks like it's been quite a busy day. But what will the future hold? A fortnight later, and our puppies arrived at one of the world's most high-tech specialist dog centres. She's here to find out if she has what it takes to make it as one of the most sought-after dogs in the country. The Secret Life of Dogs. Now 7 weeks old, our puppy is at the perfect age to assess whether she has the qualities to be one of the most highly trained working dogs. Is she fit, healthy, intelligent, and above all the right character to be a guide dog for the blind? The first test is to see how she'll respond to an unfamiliar, slightly scary sound. She should react, but not panic.
Very good. What's that mean, Tony?
The most crucial trait is loyalty, looking to her owner at all times and in all situations.
Puppy! Puppy! Come on! There we are. That's really good.
And it seems like she's got what it takes.
Okay.
You might wonder if your dog could qualify to be a guide dog. You can get an idea by observing them. Research has shown that dogs are left or right-pawed.
You left footer? Looks. Hey, is you a left footer? No?
You can test this by watching closely to see which paw they step off with.
I think that was a right foot started.
Yeah. Yeah, she's left-footed, isn't she? You're left-handed.
Okay, let's go. I think we've proven there in that unbiased test that it was his right foot that came forward.
Preliminary research has shown that right-pawed dogs are statistically more likely to pass their guide dog test.
You'd get run over with a bus, you would, wouldn't you?
There's another clue to the chances of them passing in the swirls of hair on your dog. And it all depends which way they turn.
Clockwise.
Anti-clockwise.
If your dog is right-pawed and the swirl goes anti-clockwise, then your dog is more likely to be calm, confident, and self-assured. Exactly the traits that a guide dog needs.
What about a guide dog? You could be a blind dog for the guides.
And if your dog is left-pawed, be prepared for some creative solutions to your problems. Back with our puppy, and she's joined a group of other potential guide dogs. And what do you know? She she's also right-pawed. There's still a year of training to complete, but for now she can have fun. We've trained dogs for thousands of years to work with us, harnessing their incredible physical abilities. And the husky is one of the best there is. They're superb athletes, able to run for over 100 miles a day in sub-zero temperatures, and they love it. They have a coat of fur 2 layers thick that insulates them from the cold. Even at -60, they won't get frostbite. And when they need to cool down, like all dogs, they pant. By looking at these huskies with a thermal camera, we can see that their mouths and tongues are white with the heat that they're expelling from their body core. And it means that when your dog is panting after a run, she's not puffed out, she's just cooling down. It's a dog's main method of losing heat. As they're covered in fur, the only place they can really sweat is through their paws. Dogs have been our working companions for as long as we can remember. We've used the basset hound's nose to sniff out prey, the Rottweiler's strength for guarding our homes, the Afghan's sight and speed to give chase, and the husky's endurance in extreme environments. But from the very beginning, we've also chosen dogs that are cute and give us comfort. And no matter what the size, dogs have worked their way into our hearts. It's a strong emotional bond, and one that our rapidly growing puppy is just beginning to discover. Now 9 weeks old, she's taking her first steps into her new home and a very special new relationship. This is the family who will raise her until she's ready to be a guide dog. It's here that she'll learn to live with people. And it's the perfect time for this transition. At this key stage in their life, puppies actually prefer to go to human companions than other dogs. When a puppy holds our gaze with its big eyes and infant-like features, it causes our brain to react as though we're looking at a human baby. But have you ever wondered what they're thinking? Sometimes dogs look at us with such knowing eyes, but do they really know how we feel?
They can read what sort of mood you're in.
They're somebody who can understand how you're feeling in a day, whether you're feeling upset.
They know when I'm hurting, they know when I'm sad, and yeah, 100% I think they understand me.
Dogs definitely look at us like they know what's up. And tests have shown that there's truth in this. Humans naturally look to the left-hand side of someone's face to read their mood, as that's where we display our emotions. Dogs are one of the few other species that have picked up on this, and they also do it to tell how we're feeling. Who can resist a dog when it's trying to cheer you up? For some people, this irresistible affection has transformed their lives. Navy officer Alan Parton suffered a severe head injury while on active duty in the Gulf War. It left him confined to a wheelchair, unable to talk, and he lost half of his life's memories.
You know, I can't remember my children's first steps, their first days at school, their being born, and I was there for all those occasions, but sadly, those are memories robbed to me.
But more than this, Alan didn't even recognise his children. He had no idea who the lady was that he had apparently married. And he lost the ability to feel any emotion.
I had 2 attempts of suicide in rehabilitation because I'd lost my past, I'd lost my future, and I'm really in a psychologically bad place as well as physically.
But that all changed with a chance encounter with a dog named Endel, who was failing his training to be an assistance dog and needed a home.
At the time, there was this 1-year-old Labrador up there that had health problems and a huge attitude problem. And bless him, you know, he saw something on the floor by my wheelchair, trotted across the training centre, picked it up and put it in my lap. Well, he didn't get a reaction, he didn't get a treat, he didn't get acknowledged. And this really hacked him off. I mean, this was a dog that didn't do anything for anyone, and he'd done it for me. And he wanted a treat, a reward, praise, anything. And he got the stone wall. And then he trotted over to the mock-up supermarket and took a tin off the shelf, brought it back and put it in my lap. Didn't get a reaction. To cut a long story short, I was disappearing under a mound of stuff. And just before I completely disappeared, the brain switched on and I smiled for the first time in a long time.
Go on.
And it was the start of our relationship.
Endel became his 24-hour companion, aiding with every practical aspect of his life. He even helped Alan reconnect with his family, and in 2002, Alan remarried his wife, with Endel as his best man. But this dog had to show his true devotion when in the dead of night, Alan and Endel were both hit by a car.
But though I was knocked unconscious out of the wheelchair and Endel had been stunned by the vehicle as well, he got up, pulled me into the recovery position, he retrieved his blanket from under my wheelchair and covered me with it, and in the dark he found my mobile phone, which had jettisoned off in the impact, and he brought it to my face, and then he made the brave decision to limp off and go to a nearby hotel and raise the alarm. And for that he won the Victoria Cross for animal bravery. That dog had saved my life, my marriage, and brought me back to my children.
No one could have predicted the life-changing impact that Endel would have had on Alan's family. It was a remarkable bond and an incredible life, but inevitably age caught up with Endel.
I've had a lovely evening with Endel at home, knowing the vet was coming the next day. I was able to tell him how much I loved him, you know, what he'd done for me. Yeah, it was quite an emotional evening. And the final gift he gave me was that gift of sadness. I didn't know that emotion, but that day Endel, you know, left me, you know, he put to sleep in my lap, was the day that my heart broke and I cried, yeah. But there was a little guy in the corner who was there with a hanky in his mouth to wipe away the tears. He'd been nurturing alongside Endel for a year, and that day he picked up the baton and ran with it. What was that? Good boy. Some people will come up to me in the street and they say they wish they had a dog as clever as Endel or EJ is, and I think they have. They just haven't opened their minds and hearts.
Our faithful friend is now 3 months old, and her guide dog training is starting in earnest. She's learning simple commands like returning to her owner's call and sitting on request. All basic skills, but really rather important if you're going to be a guide dog. She's also showing signs that her bond with the family is growing. A lick of the face or a kiss on the lips definitely feels like true affection. And this is proof that your dog is treating you like her mother, as this behaviour originally comes from a puppy licking her mum's lips to get her to regurgitate her dinner.
Oh, nice.
Nice. We've been watching a puppy grow, and now that she's 9 months old, she's just about full size. But like a lanky teenager, she's not totally in control of it all just yet. She's also taking the next steps in her guide dog.
No, look, it's just
Learning about strange sights, sounds and
you.
smells.
You shut us. You bloody
And
wind
most
it up.
importantly,
Shut up.
bonding with her family.
Shut. You shut up.
Another sure sign of this attachment is a yawn. It turns out that the infectious nature of yawns is a sign of empathy. So if you yawn and your dog yawns back, it means you've got a good bond. Have you ever wondered why it's so relaxing to hang out with a dog?
Not all the time. Not all the time, mate.
This is the Evelina Children's Hospital in London. And McGee is a normal dog with a very special job to do. George was admitted to hospital on Christmas Eve just over a year ago. He had a ruptured diaphragm and needed drastic surgery. For the next 18 hours, his parents didn't know if he would survive. He's doing well now, but he hasn't been home in all this time.
Oh boy, you like that? Oh yeah.
So the one thing George looks forward to is this weekly visit from McGee. But he gets a lot more out of it than just a cuddle.
Move over there. Move over. Don't shut up.
When we stroke
Move
the
over.
dog, it makes us feel happy and relaxed.
You move over as well. Squashing up on me. You're squashing up on me.
Our blood pressure. This is because our bodies
Yeah.
release oxytocin into our bloodstream. The same hormone produced when mothers breastfeed their babies. This means we'll feel the peaceful, warm sense of bonding and attachment that a mother would with her newborn child.
Boy,
Statistically,
you
people live
fucking fell
longer
off.
if they own dogs.
What are you doing?
They're less likely to have a heart attack and more likely to survive one.
That didn't take long, did it?
But the benefits go both ways. Cuddle a dog and her blood pressure will also drop. She even produces the attachment hormone oxytocin. So she's feeling that same bond that goes between a mother and her child. But how far does this special connection go? Some people think their dogs have almost supernatural powers. Is there any truth that they can sense when you're about to take them for a walk? Or predict when you're going to faint? Do some dogs really know us better than we know ourselves? As we explore the secret world of dogs, we're discovering that they're capable of remarkable feats. The puppy we've been following is just over a year old. She's now living at the Guide Dog Centre, going through the toughest phase of her training yet. She's made the important bond with humans, but now she must put it to practical use and do something really impressive. Looking after a blind, vulnerable handler means knowing to stop at the edge of the road. She's anticipating her handler's needs, avoiding obstacles on the ground, but also in the air. She could walk right through this arch, but she knows that her blind handler would hit her head. So how's she doing this? It comes down to observation. Dogs watch us all the time in a way that no other animal does.
He senses whenever we're going to go out, and he knows before we even make a move.
They read our body language, and that's how they know we're going to take them for a walk, before we think we've made the decision ourselves. It's this constant observation that can sometimes appear to give them a sixth sense. Max is a red collie cross, normally full of energy and enthusiasm. But in 2008, his owner, Maureen Burns, noticed that something was wrong.
I thought at the time Max was fading. He was 9.5. And I was preparing myself for losing him because he just wasn't happy. Wouldn't come with me, wouldn't sit by me, wouldn't sit on my lap. And the odd signs, he would come up and touch my breast with his nose and back off, so desperately unhappy. There's such a sad look in his eyes.
Maureen had a small lump in her breast, but her latest mammogram was clear, so she presumed all was okay.
Initially I thought, it's just another lumpy breast as people get. But then I sort of connected it with the dog, with his odd behaviour. And one day I was looking in the mirror in the bedroom here, and I looked across in the mirror at Max's eyes. He was on the bed, as he is now, and I knew it was cancer.
Maureen went to her local hospital, but both a scan and a mammogram came back negative. It took a surgical biopsy to finally detect the cancer. Maureen had it removed, and the change in Max's behaviour was instant.
The day I was picked up from the hospital, he was his old hyper self again. He put his nose across my breast to check where the operation had been, and he was wagging his tail and his eyes were happy, and it was unbelievable, the change in him. Instant. I love Max so much, and I owe him so much. And even before I go for a checkup now, I get him to check me out. And if he's happy and wagging his tail, I'm happy. And I know I'm okay.
We now know that dogs like Max are smelling the tiny volatile chemicals given off by cancerous tumours. Most dogs can do this. They just don't know that we're interested. But with a little training, dogs can accurately pick out a cancerous patient from a selection of urine samples. They can even be taught to let diabetics like Stephen know that his blood sugar levels are smelling low, long before he can feel it, and definitely before he passes out. Dogs like Stephen's are now transforming lives all over the country. They're being trained to detect the early warning signals for severe allergic reactions, epileptic fits, and narcolepsy. Our dog has also done something remarkable. She's done more than just qualify to be a guide dog. She's done so well in all her tests that guide dogs for the blind would like her to be a mother to the next generation. Now aged 18 months old, our puppy, who we followed from birth, is going to have a litter of her own. Just like a human, she may experience morning sickness and strange food cravings. But 63 days after conception, she'll give birth and the cycle will begin all over again. A new litter of dogs with all their potential entering the world.
I'm really surprised how much he means to me.
really. We've always had them as a pet, and she's definitely more than that.
I think every time you go out, you learn something about the dogs. You always learn something new.
There are so many benefits of having a dog in one's life. I can't recommend it highly enough.
Dogs give us an incredible amount. All we can ever do is look after them and love them. Together, we're a team.
Dogs are super intelligent and have amazing powers.
We now understand dogs better than ever before. And the more we know about our dogs, the more we love them. So, dogs, slobbery, hairy mutts only interested in food, sometimes, but mostly, just brilliant.
Furniture moving fun with the boys in Great Night Out tomorrow at 9. Jonathan Ross is joined by